It was filthy.
Yeah.
Absolutely filthy.
You can throw it away at any time. But Scott Carson won a treble, and he's not exactly Golden Glove, is he?
The rock star, yes. Man who has obviously good vibes, good hair. But as a manager for QPR, he was just abysmal.
Hello guys and welcome to episode 6 of the Sportsman Untitled, and it's a special episode for you today because we've reached the end of 2023, so it's time for our review of the year. We've got some awards to dish out, Manager of the Year, Player of the Year, etc. We're going to go through them. I've got the help of Sam Penfold with me today. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm very well, thank you, Simon. How are you?
Very, very good, thanks for asking. And Connor, amazing Christmas, I presume?
Yes, absolutely. Lovely stuff. Great time of year. And yeah, just happy to be doing this with you boys.
I'm the only one to be wearing the Christmas jumper still. It's a bit of a hangover for me, but we're going to go through an awful lot of categories this year, looking at this year, starting with Manager of the Year. So, Connor, why don't you kick us off with a few names you want to put forward?
So, first one on the list for me for Manager of the Year is Ipswich Town's Kieran McKenna. It has been a great year for the Tractor Boys, 101 points in 2023 so far, highest in the top 4 tiers of English football, 30 wins in that time as well, and obviously they have made the jump from League One to the Championship, and it has been seamless, and obviously there is a very good chance that they will obviously go into 2024 as firm favourites for the second automatic promotion spot, alongside Leicester City. Couldn't ask for a better candidate for this award, I don't think.
They've only lost 5 times in 2023 to Oxford, Burnley, Fulham, Leeds and West Brom in all competitions, if you're interested. I think McKenna's a decent shout. Sam, any more names you want to throw in?
Yeah, I'm going down the Football League even further. I'm going to go to Steve Evans at Stevenage. He's got them up in 4th at the moment. They're kicking it with some of the big boys in League One. Obviously got promoted from League 2 last year and have just seemingly gone from strength to strength. The other one would be Pete Wild at Barrow.
Great job he's doing there.
It's a very good job he's doing there. So if you look at the table, he's got Barrow up in 2nd. They're above Wrexham on goal difference. They're beating out the likes of Notts County. They're only 6 points behind Stockport. At the start of the year, if you asked most people where you thought Barrow would be come Christmas, I don't think you'd have had many say top half, let alone top 2.
I think he's a good shout as well. A bit higher up the Football League, we've of course got Unai Emery doing an amazing job at Aston Villa in 2nd in the Premier League. And we can't overlook Pep Guardiola's treble as well.
No.
Either of those names take your fancy?
Emery was on the list. Guardiola's treble, I think, is an unbelievable feat for Manchester City and one that they've rightly enjoyed. But I think with the resources available at his disposal, there are other managers that are worth a shout out that deserve the praise as well.
So you're a Man United fan who we've just forced to talk about Man City. So Birmingham City fan Connor Keane, how good has Unai Emery been at Villa?
Yeah,
how much do you love him?
As much as I'm hating this from a personal point of view, like I can't take anything away from what he's done since coming in to take over from Steven Gerrard. They're just don't really want to say it, but yeah, they're a pretty decent team, aren't they? They're doing very well. Home form is just impeccable. And obviously now they're starting to get the wins away from home. So don't want to say it, but yeah, they are firmly in this title race.
Any plans for May if they lift the trophy?
Yeah, just looking for one of them sort of like abroad underground bunkers with no internet access. Just nice quiet week or two. Just away with my thoughts.
Another name we must bring in Europe, by the way, is Michel, the manager of Girona. I think that's how you say it, Michel.
Yeah.
Michel. Anyway, he's taken them top of the La Liga. He's beaten out Real Madrid and Barcelona at the minute, could lead them to the title. But we've got to pick one name here. I think for us it's let's go between McKenna and Steve Evans. Any particular one you want to pick out of those? Do you go for McKenna, Connor?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with McKenna, seeing as I
Sam, have to switch to McKenna and we'll give it to Kieran McKenna.
Oh, we can do. I could give it to Kieran McKenna. He's not doing a bad job, is he, at Ipswich Town?
2023 Sportsman's Manager of the Year is Kieran McKenna at Ipswich Town, and that brings us on to the Player of the Year for the calendar year. Now, obviously the World Cup ended in December, so we're not taking that into consideration. This is for 2023. Sam, let's start with you. Who are you looking at for this one?
For Player of the Year, I've got a few a few on the list. Some have a bit more recency bias than others. So we'll start off with probably the weakest candidate on the list. Would be Kiernan Drewsbury Hall.
Whoa! Is that just because he scored against Birmingham the other night?
Now, granted, I'm only taking into account his form from, his main uptick in form has been since they have dropped down to the Championship, and he's performing really well. But I think if you look at the way that he played last season, even in the Premier League, he popped up with some really big goals for Leicester City. He's doing so again this year, and he's thriving at the Championship. He's thriving under Maresca, and he is their talisman that's going to be guiding them back to the Premier League. My other two choices would be Kieran Trippier.
Nice.
Player of the Year. Again, missing out some fairly big names, but I think these types of awards you can afford to branch out and reach out to those that aren't going to get recognised in your Ronaldo, Messi, Haaland conversations, Mbappe's, etc. He didn't miss a game for Newcastle last year. He's played he's basically played 1,400 minutes in the Premier League already this season. In the Premier League alone, he's got 14 goals and 1 assist in the calendar year. You're not finding many fullbacks that are reliable and consistent like that. So yeah, he would be my second choice. And my third and final candidate for Player of the Year is Harry Kane.
Very simple with Harry Kane, isn't it? He's had a wonderful start in Germany.
He has, I believe it's 32 goals and assists in all competitions, and he's played something ridiculous like 24 games, if that. He's smashing it. Everyone said he was a one-hit wonder over a decade ago. About a decade ago, actually.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
One-hit wonder who's still banging the goals in and is now tearing apart the Bundesliga week by week, record by record.
Connor, Kane take your fancy or something?
Yeah,
else?
Kane was on my short list, but Sam has already mentioned my top pick, which obviously you'd think is probably on everyone's list the most obvious candidate. It's obviously Erling Haaland. Obviously the treble winner with Manchester City, 50 goals the calendar year. It's very hard to just ignore him for obviously what he has achieved in Manchester during his first year. And obviously, it's not really much that can be said about him that hasn't been said already. He's just fantastic footballer, and obviously I think he gets the top award.
I've Kane and Haaland on my list as well, along with Jude Bellingham. We might come on to him a little bit later, though. He's been incredible for Real Madrid, top scorer in Liga at the moment. Rodri as well, and Declan Rice for some more defensive-minded players. I like your idea, Sam, of going for someone under the radar, but this year Man City won a treble, so I think the Player of the Year for 2023 has to be a Man City player. So for me, it's Haaland or Rodri.
Yeah, I think you have to give it to Haaland, but we come back to it time and time again. Rodri's importance to that Man City team. Do you know what? No, Rodri, Player of the Year. Forget Erling Haaland and his goals. Who scored in the Champions League final?
That's a big
Rodri.
sway, isn't it? Did Haaland touch the ball in the Champions League? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Rodri does pop up with big goals as well, doesn't he? He loves that, that ball that just trickles out the edge of the area and he just pots it home. Did it against Inter Milan, done it various other times.
I think if we look at how important they are to Man City, I think Rodri's arguably more important to Man City.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, that's it, done then. 2023's Player of the Year from the Sportsman is Manchester City's Rodri after their treble win. Incredible, we've picked a defensive midfielder. Right, we've had some positives, now on to the negative. Flops of the year. We're going to look at managers and players here. Let's start in the dugout with flops of the year. I've got a couple of names to throw into this one. Steven Gerrard, first of all, for absolutely ruining his reputation as manager, going to Saudi Arabia and being shit. Won 7 of his 19 games so far. Also want to throw in Graham Potter, Mauricio Pochettino, I thought would both do better at Chelsea. Alex Neil at Stoke has just lost his job and had a decent summer in terms of transfers. I'll let you guys take it from here because I've got a name who I think will be hard to beat, but I'll let you guys throw your names in first.
No, so I'm very much with you in your selection so far. I don't think there are many managers that would have gone into Chelsea and done as poorly as Graham Potter did, given the expectation on him. And then you look at Mauricio Pochettino, he had an off-season with them, he had his pre-season training, he had another should we call it 600 million to spend for man?
$1 billion.
Yeah, had $1 billion. Do you know what? Just spend whatever you like. You can have 3 of the world's most expensive central midfielders, and still you're unable to do anything.
With you on Alex Neil, but for me, I think there was one name in the Championship this year that stood out above the rest, and that was Gareth Ainsworth.
The rock star.
The rock star, yes. You know, man who has obviously good vibes, good hair, but as a manager for QPR, he was just abysmal. And
tactics.
It's one of them that obviously you could have seen going terribly from the offset. Obviously went in as a Wycombe Wanderers legend for obviously what he'd achieved there. Like, it was absolutely phenomenal given the club of their size. But at QPR, it was just like an accident waiting to happen. And obviously his 18% win record after the 27 Championship games he took charge of, it's just shocking. And there's a reason that we haven't seen him go back in a job since. I mean, he has alluded that he's currently retired, and I don't really see a way back for him into football, at least for a while anyway. You know, just let him live the rock star life, go back to playing music and just enjoy this time away, because literally football is doing so better without him right now.
Have we mentioned Wayne Rooney, by the way?
We haven't mentioned Wayne Rooney. No, we haven't.
Because he wasn't exactly tearing up trees in DC. Again.
And now he's tearing down trees.
And now he's tearing down trees at Birmingham, throwing money away. Well, he's not had the chance yet, but I'm sure he will in January.
A few weeks away.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney, I think, has got to be up there. He went to DC United to kind of restore his reputation after a little bit of not a blip at Derby towards the end, but it didn't end how it could have done. He went back to DC. Everyone thought, you know what, this is fine. He can go and just build a team in the MLS, build up some reputation. I don't think he did anything. There was no one in England that was calling for him to come back until Birmingham came calling. And he's, as you know, Connor, done a delightful job at taking the Blues from 6th to 17th, I believe you are now.
Yeah, the relegation zone.
Yeah,
so
a very familiar position if
with
we're talking of a recency.
Flop of the year for manager-wise.
He definitely is, and we're talking about reputation, and I think my pick's going to usurp all of the ones we've discussed so far, because this manager, he was a former player, he had a pretty high reputation as a manager at the start of the year. Now he is never, ever, ever going to be employed by another football club again. Joey Barton, Bristol Rovers manager at the start of the year, sacked in October, and now unemployable. I mean, he was what is there more to say about him? He's burnt every bridge that he built in the football community, and now he's never, ever going to get another job.
No, and thankfully so.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't want people like that involved in the game, to be honest.
A man of his opinions, he should keep them quiet.
I think he can have an award, though, from us.
Oh, he can. Yeah. Joey.
Stay away, mate.
Joey Barton, flop of the year in terms of football managers. In terms of players, I've got one player I'm going to put forward. We can make this one quick. We haven't had a dig at Man United yet, but I'm going to do it. Anthony, 2023, 0 goals, 0 assists this season. 1 Premier League goal, 2 Premier League assists in 30 league appearances in 2023, and he cost £85 million. I mean, that's going to take some beating, whoever you've put forward, because he is garbage.
Yeah.
He is useless.
No, he's about as good as a one-trick pony as you're going to get. Like, if you keep him on his left foot, you know what he's going to do, because he's not going to take you down to the byline. For 85 million for the recruitment team at United, for Eric Ten Hag to push for it, for Anthony to still be here a year later, not getting any better.
If Man United tried to sell him now, what figure are we talking? 25 million?
20, 30 maybe,
maybe
push.
I reckon 20.
My flop of the year, Jack Grealish.
Oh, I like it. He won a treble this year.
He did win a treble,
City,
but Scott Carson won a treble, and he's not exactly Golden Glove, is he?
Yeah, but Grealish actually played a decent part in it.
He did. He had a good little run, but that's the thing. He's not had consistency over the course of the year. And if we're talking about Anthony for 85, we've got to talk about Grealish for 100, right?
Yeah.
We can't just have one because he's terrible for United and one be terrible for City, but because he says feed the turkey and gets pissed on a team boss. Well, he probably will be pissed at Christmas as well. I don't think Jack Grealish's numbers over the course of 2023 have reflected an £100 million player. And you've seen it this year. He's barely played for Man City, and when he has, he's not been very good, hence why he is on the bench.
Connor, any thoughts on Grealish? Any players you want to chuck in?
I can see where Sam's coming from with Grealish.
You probably hate Jack Grealish, actually, don't you?
I didn't like him when he was obviously wearing Villa colours, but obviously since he joined City, he's definitely become a lot more likeable because obviously we've seen a lot more about the personality rather than the footballer that just loved to go down at any slight contact. But the player I would like to chuck in is a player who cost a similar amount to Anthony Simon, and that is Mykhailo Mudryk.
Oh, I like
That's
it.
That's a great shout.
That is a really good shout.
We've watched him play for Chelsea, and you just think, how has so much money been invested into this man? Like the classic example of the recruitment department have literally just looks at YouTube highlights and just sign a player based off that, because it's honestly right now when you watch him play, it's like hard to see that he's a professional footballer. The amount of times that he'll get the ball and it'll be stuck behind him as he's trying to carry it forward, or chances he gets and just absolutely spurns them. It's like 2 goals and 1 assist this year for Chelsea after all that money they spent on him. And there's been no signs of improvement, like you say about Anthony. It's just, it's just a classic, again, coming back to Chelsea, just all the money they've wasted in the last few years. But I think this one might take some beating on their part because he has been woeful. And Arsenal will think they have dodged a bullet with that one.
Definitely. I'll let you guys decide this one between Anthony and Mudryk. I don't mind who wins this award from this point of view. I'll let you guys decide.
From a biased United perspective, I'd like to see a United player win an award. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to have one of those for a while. So, my pick would be to give it to Anthony.
Connor, happy to give it to Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, they're both equally terrible, so, both worthy winners.
So we'll go flop of the year in terms of a football player in the Premier League this season is Anthony. Hopefully he can get a goal or an assist at some point this season.
I mean, we're out of Europe now, so the likelihood of that happening is non-existent.
Just bookmark this for next year.
Let's go back to the positives, and we're looking at the best football match of 2023. I've got a few suggestions to throw forward. Newcastle 4, PSG 1 was a cracking European tie. Liverpool 7, Man United 0, just for the shock factor. Yep. Chelsea 4-4 with Man City. Palmer and Sterling scoring against their former clubs. Any games you've picked out here, Connor?
Yeah, the one for me was the gripping 4-3 between Liverpool and Tottenham, with all the drama there was at the end where Richarlison came on, got that elusive goal, gave the big one at the celebration, then literally Liverpool goes down the other end and literally win it. Like, was it within 60 seconds later? It's just like, that was just football purity at its finest. I just think like that is one of the all-time great games, not just of the Premier League, but just
do you know the other Liverpool-Tottenham game probably worth mentioning is the one with Diaz's goal disallowed and all the chaos that ensued with that and the red cards. I mean, that was an iconic moment as well between those two teams. Sam?
Funnily enough, I had the exact same game, but in my back pocket, I've got one from Belgium, where Antwerp won the league in the 94th minute, thanks to homegrown hero Toby Alderweireld scoring an absolute screamer. And I think that equalised the game and gave the title to Antwerp, and it was their first title for many a year.
I've got that goal down as got my goal of the year, which is the next category we're going to come to. I think it was one of the best stories of the year.
Yeah.
Homegrown lad coming back to his old club and winning the title for them. An Aguero moment, if you like. If Aguero was from Manchester and had played all around the world and then come back and done that, it's basically what happened with Toby Alderweireld, and I think it was absolutely incredible.
Not to mention he's a centre back as well. Like you're not expecting it,
and a really good goal.
Yeah,
a really good strike.
Absolutely.
The other game I want to throw into this one for game of the year is Sheffield Wednesday versus Peterborough.
Yep.
In the second leg of the League One playoff semi-final. They were 4-0 down from the first leg. Got it back to 4-4 after 90 minutes, a 95th minute, I think it was 96th minute equaliser, a very last kick of the game, Liam Palmer. Then they conceded again in extra time, then they came back again, 5-5 after extra time, then they won on penalties, and ultimately led to them getting promoted. I think one of the best playoff comebacks, if not the best. No side's come from 4 goals down. Probably the game I've most enjoyed watching this season, but I don't know which one we should go for here, guys. Sam, Any direction you want to take it?
I'm quite happy to throw the award at Sheffield Wednesday. I don't think many teams get back from the deficit that they overturned, especially with the character and resilience that they showed to do it. Because no one gave them a chance after that first leg, and they just didn't say no. And it reflected why they were where they were in the table at the time. It reflects why they've started to see an uptick in performances now, because they do have that fighting spirit, they do have that never say die attitude. And what a time to pull out a performance like that.
It also led to them getting promoted. Obviously,
I think that's
with another late game.
Factor,
so, I mean, I think we'll go for it. I think we'll go game of the year. Sheffield Wednesday 5, Peterborough 1 was the full-time result in that one. They ended up getting promoted. It was remarkable. So Sheffield Wednesday win our Game of the Year award. Next up, we've got Goal of the Year, and you know my pick already. I think Toby Alderweireld deserves this one, but happy to hear any other suggestions if you can change my mind. Connor?
Well, funnily enough, we didn't think United would get thrown into the mix much during this conversation today, but yes, I'm going to give mine. Well, my selection is Garnacho's bicycle kick from just a few weeks ago.
Oh, yes.
There's no easy way to put it. It was filthy.
Yeah.
Absolutely filthy. Like, when they go, oh, it stays here. That was that. Like, personified basically.
Was it the best overhead kick in Premier League history?
Oh, Premier League history. Yes.
Was it the best Man United goal in Premier League history?
No.
I'm not going to give you another
sorry,
answer. Manchester United.
Rooney, Beckham.
I'm not going to give you another answer. I'm just going to say no, because right now I don't think it can't.
It's better than Rooney's. Rooney's came off his shin. Yeah, he came in a derby and it was like a mental game, but it came off his shin. Garnacho's was so clean.
Sam, any other goals or any other thoughts you want to throw forward into our Goal of the Year?
Yes. So I'll put a drink down. Wes Burns.
That was on the shortlist as well. That was beautiful.
I mean, that goal sums up everything about Ipswich Town at the moment. Playing out from the back, switch of play again to the other side, delicate touch inside, Trivella into... If there was a stanchion there, if the stanchion was there, the ball gets stuck, right? It was delightful. You're not finding a better goal. Garnacho's, granted, technique, superb, but where's Burns? Oh my lord. That has... I mean, if it's not... is it a Puskas contender? It's probably not. It's probably the shortlist.
Yeah, it has to be.
When's the shortlist come out? January, isn't it? I think.
It's got to be in there because
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't know which is the harder goal to score, because I think the talent to do what Burns did is remarkable.
Yeah.
But
because it's intended. Garnacho just kind of... I hate to say it, but bicycle kicks, from that sort of angle... There's no way he thought, do you know what, I am going to put this in the back of the net.
Did he? That's the thing. He obviously wanted to get it on target, but was he aiming for that top corner? I've got no idea.
He did have to have a bit of work to do as well, because obviously the cross came in and it was behind him, so he had to make up the ground then to go and meet it. And obviously the only way to get an effort on goal basically was the bicycle kick. It was just instinctive. And obviously it paid dividends.
I agree. I think we can't give every award here to Ipswich Town. So Wes Burns comes a very close second, but I'll go with Garnacho. I think it is probably goal of the season in the Premier League and a complete one-off in terms of goals we'll see this season. So we are rattling through the awards here on the Sportsman's Review of 2023. And next up is our Young Player of the Year award. And we've categorised this as somebody who is 21 or under at this moment in time. I mean, Connor, I kind of can guess, I think, who you're going to say right now, but go ahead.
Yes, so obviously you mentioned him earlier in the category for Player of the Year, which obviously if you're talking about this like from the start of this season, absolutely, it is Jude Bellingham. We are, for a man who's still early 20s, you're running out of things to say for him because he's just a magnificent footballer. Obviously, he carried Dortmund during his final few months there at the start of the year, and obviously going to Real Madrid, you just thought he's going to just be there to boost up the numbers, but he's gone there and he's literally like, right, I'm here now. I'm going to run the show. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And obviously, Ancelotti has deployed him a bit further up the field than where he was playing for Dortmund. And, it's paid dividends. 17 goals and 5 assists so far for Los Blancos. He's already taken the record away from Ronaldo for as many goals as his first 14 appearances for Madrid. It's just things like that you just think wouldn't be broken because obviously of the career that Cristiano Ronaldo has had in the game. Bellingham is just he just continues to deliver on the big stage, and obviously right now he's the current favourite and rightly so for next year's Ballon d'Or. So it's very, very hard to ignore him for this award, especially when he's the Copper Award winner and the Golden Boy Award winner as well. It's just,
I think this is potentially our most straightforward award. I think if he wins the Euros with England and maybe a trophy with Real Madrid this season, he probably will win the Ballon d'Or next year, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Sam, any alternatives to Jude Bellingham, or are we happy to go ahead?
Florian Wirtz probably deserves an honourable mention. Again, Bundesliga star, playing for Bayer Leverkusen, thriving under the guidance of Xabi Alonso. He's got a great partnership with Victor Boniface as well, who's their striker. Just looking at his numbers now, in 22 games this season in all competitions, he's got 8 goals and 11 assists. Another Bundesliga player to throw in the mix who is a good friend of Jude Bellingham's would be Musiala. I don't think he's getting a lot of praise and a lot of credit. And I think he's one of those players that England will look at in a few years' time and go, we should have fought, or they're probably looking at him now saying we should have fought a lot harder to stop him switching his allegiances to Germany.
I think if you look at those two players maybe playing for Germany at the Euros as well, it's quite exciting on home soil to see what they can potentially do after a bit of a kind of a time off for Germany in recent tournaments. They've failed to impress, but those two could be very impressive.
So those two honourable mentions, but no issues whatsoever with giving it to Jude Bellingham.
Wonderful stuff, nice and clean cut. Young Player of the Year for the Sportsman 2023 obviously is Jude Bellingham. Now, from one of the hottest young prospects in the world to the Sportsman Shithouse of the Year 2023, any sort of cheeky behaviour we've seen on the pitch. It's kind of hard to pinpoint moments here. I've got a couple down for you. Jamie Vardy, obviously, he was always going to be nominated for this award. Ran the length of the pitch against Bristol City after scoring a penalty to celebrate in front of the away fans.
Yep.
Sort of thing we'll have to see in the Championship. Roy Hodgson giggling at Pep Guardiola.
Yep.
just the other week. I mean, I just love that. Sam, any you want to chuck in there?
I did again, recency bias kicks in for a lot of these sorts of things. I liked Russell Martin the other week, walking to applaud the Southampton fans, and as he did so, just reminded Cardiff City that he'd beaten them 4 times or 5 times now, I think it was. Because obviously he used to manage Swansea as well. So he gave them the 5, and they were not happy. The Southampton fans loved it. He was smirking while doing so.
I think whoever wins this award has to have wound a certain group of fans up to maximum effect. I mean, you want the fans to be absolutely seething in the corner if Russell Martin did something like that. He really nailed it. Connor, have you got any to?
No, mine was Vardy. Just as you'd mentioned, Bristol City just run it. How many people just, they've just scored a goal. You're in your home stadium. You want to celebrate with the fans. Want to celebrate with your teammates. No, I'm going to go give it to the people who've been giving it about my wife for about all the game up until that point. So I'm gonna give it back, and it's just, it's good to see him obviously back among the goals in the Championship this year, because basically it's just, he is your favourite shithouse, because you just know what he's going to do, and he just boils everyone's piss, and it's just great to see.
It's a front runner for sure. We've got another couple of honourable mentions. I think Suarez playing for Gremio. I don't know if you guys saw this. He thought he got fouled, so he kicked his own boot off on the pitch. And Marlon, his name is, he walked past him and just chucked his boot off the pitch. Suarez lost the plot. He was absolutely fuming at this, but that is just wonderful behaviour. And also, a real good one here, I think, could take some beating. Lazio Supporters Club. Don't know if you saw this. They made Anthony Taylor an honorary member of their supporters club after his performance against Roma in the Europa League final. Obviously, their closest rivals. That's just a bit of a supporters club. But I think it's Marlon or Jamie Vardy, maybe. Sam, any more?
Just not a player. Who's the poor referee that stopped the Erling Haaland Jack Grealish counter-attack the other week?
Oh, put me on the spot there. I can't remember. Yeah,
Hooper?
Simon Hooper.
Simon Hooper.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to be up there for Shithouse of the Year, surely.
Oh, we do like that.
I mean, he's not done it intentionally, but boy, has he rattled a fan base. Him or Michael Oliver as well, because I believe... No, Simon Hooper was also the Spurs referee in the Liverpool game when he ruled out the Diaz goal.
Oh, that might have sealed it then.
Oh,
a double
two big
whammy.
ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was Simon Hooper.
Unintentionally, Simon Hooper's going to win our Shithouse of the Year award, I think.
And we'll have to give him credit as well for the City one, because obviously he's delivered one of the greatest memes of Erling Haaland we've ever seen with that facial reaction. Like, that has to be put out there.
Brilliant stuff. Didn't expect that as a referee winning an award today, but there we go. On to, this might be a personal one, but we can think of a general moment if you want. Favourite football moment of the year? Connor, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
For this one, obviously we were discussing this throughout the day, and I was thinking, God, I don't know what to do from a general point of view, but I decided in the end to go from a personal point of view, and that was Birmingham's takeover going through in the summer after 12 years of just pure misery. It's a move that obviously, bar the little hiccup with obviously Rooney coming in to take over from John Eustace, who was doing a good job at the time, like. Their arrival has brought great positivity to both the club and the city with all these initiatives that they're getting forward. So one of them, including like over the festive period, they're going to be giving like Christmas presents to all children in care in the city, which is like a really nice gesture. And it's just things like that. It's just knowing that they care about the club and the community, which obviously has not been here for 12 years with the previous ownerships.
And they've hired away Rooney, which is good enough for me, I think. So. Sam, any particular favourite moment from this year?
Yeah, personal one for not myself, but one of the friends that I made at university, Ade Adeyemo. Shout out for him. He signed and now plays for Crawley Town. He was an outstanding footballer at university, and you always looked at him and just went, why are you not playing at a higher level? He then played at Cray Valley for a few years, and then obviously made his move in the summer to Crawley, and has since made his professional debut after coming back from an injury that he was suffering. And I think it's just really nice to see a player like that, someone that who has worked hard, who has the skill, who has the talent, to then get their shot at the Football League and to live the dream that so many of us as children want for ourselves. But then when you get someone that can do it as well.
I think that's the only point where you realise just how incredible you have to be at football to make it, even at a semi-pro level. Like, he would have been ridiculous to play football with, and he's in League Two now with Crawley, which is so impressive. But seeing those players up close is the kind of incredible thing. My favourite moment, another personal one, easily the goal Coventry scored in the Championship playoff final, Gus Hamer equalising. I thought at that point it was happening. I don't know what happened for the rest of the game, didn't bother watching. But that goal was my favourite goal I've ever seen, favourite stadium moment. It was absolutely incredible. I think we can do a more general one here though, and without being too personal, I think we can give it to Toby Alderweireld for the moment of the year. We've already discussed it. He didn't win goal of the year, he didn't win game of the year, but I think he can win moment of the year because he has won the league title in the very last minute with a wonder goal. I mean, that's living the dream.
It is.
For his
What else could you want? Boyhood club, league title, last minute. And he's, 36, 37? He's not exactly going to be doing it.
And it was a very back and forth game in terms of like the other results, wasn't it? It was like the title was going somewhere else like every few minutes. So it's like for the drama of it all.
Right. Toby Alderweireld, he wins our moment of the year for 2023. Now we're going to look at a little closer to home here and give our opinions. We've made some predictions and done some opinion pieces through the year. Sam, what was your worst take of 2023? Something that has made you look a bit of a fool. Have you got one for us?
Well, we've still got half of the season to play, so I'm not going to stand on this one. I'm not withdrawing it completely. But I may or may not, at the start of the season, have said that Manchester United are going to win the Premier League title. You could say that's bias.
How many drinks had you had at this point?
None, which is probably the worst part about it. We'll go with a little bit of personal bias, a little bit of delusion. And yes, I said that Manchester United would be Premier League title winners for this upcoming season. I fell for the Ten Hag trap.
Connor, any stinky takes from you this year?
We've discussed it, and similar to Sam, this was like a piece that we put out as a collective, didn't we, when we were talking about like Premier League pre-season predictions, and my hot take was that Luton Town would stay up, and obviously they came up from the Championship via the playoffs, and they were basically not given a chance. They were just like, oh well, they're going straight back down, they're going to go bottom, they're going to like finish lower than Derby's points tally. But obviously, if you'd watched them closely last year, they were a tough unit to play against. Like, they were just so organised, the pressing that they do, and obviously we saw it against City the other week. Like, they're just so aggressive. Like, they don't want to let you breathe. And obviously, they are starting to get points now under Rob Edwards, which is obviously also a testament to him as a manager.
Your worst take of 2023 is that they're going to stay up. Are you saying that you haven't? I mean, I've heard you say that you wouldn't take Kylian Mbappe at Birmingham. So, do you want to try and defend that?
You can't defend it.
We had there was two sides to that. It was like, yes, I like the player, but I don't like the personality, because obviously the way he held PSG to ransom on certain different things.
For the record, for the audience, this is Connor Keane, who also once said that Demarai Gray should have stayed at Birmingham City for another 6 months to develop his career rather than go to Leicester City and win a Premier League title. There you have it.
Well, my stinky takes, and I've got loads of them for 2023. This season, again, they're not over yet. Hull, I said, would finish 18th in the Championship. They're currently in the playoffs. And Salford, I said they'd finish 4th in League 2. And they are 20th. So
hey, it's not over.
I think
You've got me thinking now about where I put Hull in the league table. It might be somewhere similar,
I mean,
that could be mine.
We've not done very, very well there for 2023.
It's only Christmas.
16th, yeah. 16th.
Hull City, maybe they're the overachievers of the year. Moving on, what is your controversial opinion from this year, or what has been your controversial opinion? This is slightly different to your worst take. For example, my controversial opinion this year, which could rattle a few cages, Man United would have been way better sticking with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer than sacking him and getting Ten Hag in. I think if you look at the players they have now, I think they wouldn't have signed half of them under Solskjaer. I think Solskjaer had a clear style of play. I think he beat some of the big teams away from home on a regular basis. He beat Man City, got good results against Liverpool. And I don't see the same with Ten Hag. And I think he's actually potentially even taking them backwards. So yeah, that's what I think.
Is this going forward for the remainder of the season, or
no? These are looking potentially. I mean, we've got our predictions for 2024 and hot takes for 2024 as our final category. So these are just kind of things that have happened that you think kind of are a bit controversial. Your controversial opinion. My other one is that obviously Coventry would have been far better value in the Premier League than Luton Town are.
Yeah.
So obviously that is the case. Sam?
My controversial opinion that started actually on Twitter at least, started in around November of 2022. Where I was repeatedly telling people who support a team in North London called Arsenal that they won't win the league, and if anyone can throw it away from whatever various positions they were, whenever they were tweeting at me, I was always just saying, you can throw it away at any time. And they just kept believing, and they kept believing and believing and believing, and they crashed. And that for me it's not controversial, but it's a gorgeous feeling, getting proven right.
Do you want it to happen again this year? Is that what you're...
Yeah, I'd like them to keep it going for maybe get to week 36, and they're within one point of it, and City or Liverpool will drop points, and Arsenal will go away to a Nuno Espirito Santo, potentially Nottingham Forest, and they'll get played off the park, and it will all just fall apart. That is my hot take for the remainder of this season. I know I've not answered the question.
That's all right. Got anything to add for this one?
Yeah, I think mine is to do with Villa and Emery. So obviously after his impact, after taking over from Gerrard, I just thought, it's just a big wave of new manager bounce, and I thought the bubble will burst. I thought they'd still be an all right team, they'd probably push for top 10, but nowhere near as well as they have done, and obviously he's making me look like a right fool.
Lovely, nice. Our final category, I want some predictions for 2024, your hot takes for 2024. Put your opinion on the line. I mean, I've written a few down here. I mean, I'll start with the jumper. Obviously, if I'm wearing this jumper, football's coming home in 2024.
It has to.
England are going to win the Euros.
Yep.
Harry Kane and Gareth Southgate are both getting knighted. Southgate walks out of the job after the summer's Euros to be replaced by Graham Potter, who's still sniffing around. Arsenal win the Premier League, Sam Penfold, and they reach the Champions League final.
Oh, no chance.
Ipswich and Wrexham both secured double promotions this year. Barrow finished in the top 3 of League 2. And also, in terms of the Champions League, I think they've absolutely ruined it with the new format. I think kind of this time next year, everyone will be sick of Champions League group games. I think everyone will lose interest until the knockout stage. And potentially the big clubs could decide to not enter the League Cup or call for it to be scrapped. So that's how I see 2024 panning out. Sam?
My hot takes for 2024. Marcus Rashford will finish this Premier League season with 10 or more Premier League goals.
How many he's got now?
Couldn't tell you, but not many. If he's got 2, I'll be astonished.
I know he scored. He scored against Arsenal. He scored against Arsenal, didn't he?
Did he say he's got 2?
Okay, and you think he gets 10?
I think he gets at least another 8. I hope he does.
He
for
has
his
to.
sake.
He has 2 in 16 this season so far.
Yeah. Considering the player that we thought he was going to be this season, that's not very good. So yeah, my hot take is that he rediscovers his form and finishes with a flourish. Erling Haaland to score less than 30 Premier League goals.
You said this one at the start of the season.
I did say this at the start of the season. You can check the records. It's there for everyone to see. I think that might continue to roll over. I'd like to see Steven Schumacher go to Stoke and then Plymouth to finish above Stoke in the table. That's just a personal one. Wrexham don't get automatically promoted, and Notts County do not finish in the playoffs.
Oh, big shout.
Yeah, I don't think Wrexham will stay in there. I think their form's a bit inconsistent, and we saw without the likes of Paul Mullin, they're not. I mean, everyone loses their talisman. They're not as good as they once could be, but I don't think that they get there. And Notts County,
do they win the playoffs?
Do they win the playoffs? They might do, but they're not going to get automatically promoted. Okay. And Notts County don't make the playoffs because they, again, are extremely inconsistent and leak goals, and it's not a reliable setup.
Is that your final prediction?
That'll be my final prediction, yes.
Connor, I want the hottest of hot takes from you for 2024.
I had a few, but I feel like this one stood out above the rest, and it involves our good friend Unai Emery once again.
Oh, he's back rent-free, isn't he? Rent-free.
But no, it's kind of like a positive spin on him, actually. If Manchester United end their relationship with Erik ten Hag, I think Unai Emery would be primed to take the position up himself.
Does it happen in 2024, United sack ten Hag then?
I think so. It may not happen this season, but I think there's a good chance by the end of 2024 he could be relieved of his duties.
Okay. That just seems like a good way to finish, on ten Hag getting the sack and Unai Emery rocking up at Old Trafford. Would you be happy with that, Sam?
I would be very happy with that, but I see a very nice setup for him at Aston Villa compared to that of Manchester United. I think we're more likely to go for a backwards manager like Graham Potter, which would be thrilling. So
that seems like
that's it.
A good place to end our 2023 Sportsman Awards. Thanks very much for joining me, Connor and Sam, and we'll see you next time on the Sportsman Untitled.